Welcome to Just Minding My Business. I am so happy that you guys stopped by today. And today we are welcoming Kunal Bhasin, who is the founder and CEO of One West, a financial technology and services firm dedicated to helping small and mid-sized businesses grow through customized capital solutions. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ida. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Happy to have you as well. So let's talk about One West and how you make the difference for small businesses.
Absolutely, my favorite topic. Started One West in 2017, but been in the small business financing space since 2012. When we started One West, we had a mission in mind of trying to simplify the process of small business lending. And fast forward to today, we have an online application which allows customers to apply within 2 to 3 minutes. They're gonna sign an application. They're gonna connect their bank accounts either by uploading them or connecting Plaid, and then we are taking that data and sharing it with 20 to 30 lenders in real time. And as they approve it, all the offers come back into the application, and the customers can shop and compare as simple as you and I book airline tickets today. I want to take a direct flight. I want to take a cheaper flight. I want to take a first class flight. We do that in lending. So, hey, this is your fastest loan. You'll be able to get it today. This one will take 2 to 3 weeks, and it's with a bank, and paperwork is a bit more intensive. And we let the customer choose what they need rather than selling them that what works for us. We kind of help them choose what works best for them by showing it all to them.
Wow, that's amazing because a lot of times I know for myself, I'm like might be up midnight looking
Yeah.
at
And
stuff.
most of the loan offices are not open at midnight, and
True.
small business owners are busy. Probably the busiest people I've ever worked with, especially,
Yes, we are.
yeah. And 9 to 5, they're busy also. So to ask them to drop everything and work on a loan package, I think is a discredit to how much hard work they do. And I think you get customers in a much more desperate situation versus allowing them to do this when they actually have the time to spend on it.
Yes, and you're absolutely right because when I experienced it, I was sort of desperado. So 12 o'clock midnight, you know, I took a nap earlier
Yeah.
because we work crazy. We take naps and then we work in the
Oh
week.
yeah. I mean, every day. Well, think about a restaurant owner, right? You're trying to call them or speak to them, and it's middle of busy lunch hour at the restaurant. You're not catching that person. They
True,
got they got a whole lot of problems in front of them than dealing with the loan at that time.
true. So the flexible funding. So let's talk about what the borrower might see initially.
So borrowers come in and, where do people think of when they think of loans? They immediately think of the bank, right? But for your normal retailer, your normal small town America Main Street business, the revenues are not necessarily there to get a loan with your Chase Bank and your Bank of America. The type of loan that the big banks are looking for, Chase and Bank of America define a small business loan as a company with less than 500 employees.
Mhm.
400-person company is a fairly large company. It's not that small of a business.
Right?
It's a serious operation. Now, when you start talking about a 2 employee company or a 3 employee company, it's not profitable for Chase to spend the amount of time that it takes to underwrite that loan, even if that customer is a perfect payer throughout the entire process of the loan. Chase has lost money on that loan the day they fund that loan, even if the customer pays 100% perfectly. They're not going to do a $50,000 loan because they can't make money on it. So that's where this alternative finance and the fintech players come in. And you have these online lenders, and there's a full spectrum of them. There's some that are very high risk and very expensive, and then there's more prime guys. It never gets as cheap as the bank. So if the bank, for a more established business, the bank still is typically the best option. Our platform, uses all of these types of lenders. So we have the banks, we have the SBA lenders, we have the more prime fintech lenders, and then we even have some of the higher risk people for the newer businesses and the lower revenue businesses and maybe the more credit challenged businesses. But as a customer, if you go individually to shop with all of these lenders directly, they're going to either A, decline you, or B, approve you for the one or two products that they offer at their firm. They're not going to have the ability to offer you, hey, here's 60 different products you qualify for, and let me guide you through this, and let's figure out which one is actually the right one for you.
Okay. So let me ask you, do you talk to customers?
Yeah, we have a fairly large sales team. We have 45 full-time salespeople that are here to answer any customer's questions. So the customer is enabled to do the entire process through the application by themselves. But at any point in the process, they have a phone number to their direct account manager within the company. They have the email address to the direct account manager at the company, and they can call, they can text, they can email, and a real live salesperson from One West will get back to them.
Wow. That's
So
amazing.
about a third of our customers like to go through the entire process online, and about two-thirds of our customers will opt to speak to one of our agents just to ask any questions they might have or get comfortable with the process.
Yes. And what's the availability of support?
So the platform is available 24/7. So you can do the whole process online 24/7. Our agents are in the office. So we have an office. We have a team on the East Coast here in New Jersey, which is the office I'm in right now. And then we have a team out in Texas. So it's an hour behind. So our availability is 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, I got so many questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I love talking about this.
So let's say a business owner is online 1 o'clock in the morning filling out the application and they have questions.
Yep.
Can they just leave it and
They
then,
can ask their question right there within the application. We
okay,
do have a AI assisted tool that'll help try to answer it, but their representative will also have that question when they come in the morning, and then they will also be reaching out to answer that question for them.
okay, so they don't necessarily have to make a selection at that time.
No, most don't. They wait and they check it out and then they want to look, they want to think, but they can do it from directly within the platform, but they get a username and password so they can log in later, they can log in two, 3 days later, they can talk to their agent, they can think about it, talk to their family. It's a big decision, right? We're talking about our average loan size is more tailored around the types of small businesses that I was talking about. So where I mentioned a bank's average deal size might be around $600,000, the bigger banks, our average deal size is $31,000.
Okay.
So our loans are tailored around this, but whatever size business you are, if you're a 500-person company taking $1 million loan, or a three-person company taking a $20,000 loan, it's an equally big decision because you're taking on an obligation and you're going to have that obligation for some time, and you need to make sure it's the right thing for you and the right thing for your business.
Yes, absolutely. So if businesses want to connect with you, how do they do so?
They can visit us online at onewest.com. That's the number one, west.com, or they can call us at 888-881-WEST, and we'll be happy to help them.
Yes, yes, indeed. I'm like, this is so great because
Think
uh,
of what Kayak, Expedia, Orbitz did for airline shopping and how it kind of moved that process away from travel agents and onto an online experience.
mhm.
We are doing a similar process in small business lending. Here's all your options and let us help guide you through them.
Okay. Yes, yes. And it's like the world is typically moving in that space with almost everything.
People are so busy. Doesn't matter
Yes.
business owner or not, but especially small business owners are incredibly, incredibly busy.
Yes.
They need to do it at their time and they need to do it at their pace. And we just enable them to give them the tools to do it.
Now, I heard you mention something about fintech. Just for the purpose of our audience understanding what that is, can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, fintech is a very broad term. It's all bringing tech into a lot of these different platforms, not just lending, but also credit card processing, also payments, transfers, sending money from one person to another, either within the US or sending money from the US to overseas. Fintech can encompass a lot of this, and there's a whole lot of players in each one of these. We are obviously within the lending ecosystem. The fintech lenders that have come around, they are using integrations and lots of big data to help them, and they're using financial projections. They're able to project very quickly how they believe a business is going to do, and that goes into their underwriting criteria. So the processes that might take a traditional bank, which tends to move slower, 2, 3, 4 weeks to accomplish, the fintech people are trying to do within 2, 3, 4 hours.
Mhm.
um, Now, there is a higher level of mistakes that happen when you do a 4 week process in 2 hours, and the prices adjust accordingly. A fintech lender will generally be more expensive than your traditional bank, but the approval rates from a fintech lender are way higher than from your traditional banks.
Okay. And you work with those type of people as well?
We work with both, yeah. So on
Okay.
the bank side, a lot of what we do is in the SBA, which is a government-backed loan. I can get into that if you want a little bit. Um, but then some traditional non-bank, non-SBA lending as well at the banks. And then we work with a wide selection of fintech lenders, and they all know us very well on that end.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead and elaborate on what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So the SBA side, SBA is the Small Business Administration. It is a branch of the government. The SBA itself, outside of COVID days, which was obviously a crazy, crazy time, but SBA is not traditionally a direct lender itself. The SBA empowers the banks, all the banks we see in our towns, the big ones and the small ones, to provide capital to small businesses of the US. So what the government essentially says is if you, the bank, fund a qualified small business in the United States, and for some reason that business defaults and is unable to pay, we, the government, will cover 80% of the losses on that loan.
Okay.
That allows the banks to provide much lower rates than they would otherwise have um, to calculate for the risk of providing to a small business. I think a lot of your listeners and you have probably heard the, 4 out of 5 small businesses don't make it beyond 5 years.
Mhm.
That's a very common expression, and it's true because it is competitive and it's difficult. It's not easy to do. Um, to provide assurances to the bank to do that type of lending, they'll say, hey, we will cover 80% of any losses you incur by making these types of loans. So that helps with the rates, that helps with the approval rates. But then still every bank has a different appetite for what they're looking to fund and what they're not looking to fund. So the bank does still have some discretion. So if one SBA lender declines you, it doesn't mean the next one's going to decline you because the next one might be willing to do it. So still being able to navigate that landscape and knowing where to go is a big part of this.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow. That's that. And you just taught me something because I didn't realize I knew about SBA,
Yeah,
but
they're not
I
all the
didn't.
same. They're not all the
Yeah.
same. And depending on the quarter or depending on the month, different banks have different appetites. If somebody's in hospitality, let's say, and they go to the bank may decline the loan just because they funded a few other hospitality companies that quarter, and they're like, I can't do too many of these right now. So sorry, we can't help you. But that doesn't mean the next bank is going to have that same problem.
Yes. Yes. And a lot of times when we walk in or we sit down with someone, we don't know that. These are
Exactly.
things we
That's our
don't know.
part of this. That's our part in this equation is who has what appetite right now.
Okay, so you deal with that as well?
Yes. So
Oh,
that's a big part of what we deal with. That was the loans I was talking about earlier that tend to take a few weeks, but those are going to be the cheapest loans on the platform that we offer. So for the clients that can wait, that's usually the direction we'll encourage them. And for the clients that need money today, tomorrow, we have a list of lenders for those people as well.
okay. Okay, so you have lenders for every different type of.
We'll match you with the best ones that you qualify for, and then we'll help guide you through that process.
Okay. Okay. So again, how do people get to the application?
The quickest way is going to our online application, which is going to be at onewest.com.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then from there, we'll guide them through the entire process. They'll get introduced to their sales agent, and they'll be able to go through and even fund their loan all the way if they want to. And if they want to talk to us, we're there to help.
Okay. Okay. I really like that. So what made you do this? I know you said you was in finance.
So
I
I was actually working for one of the small business lenders in the space, and I was watching. I've always had interest in tech and getting involved in tech, and I know myself, I don't love when I have to do 50 phone calls or 20 phone calls to get something done. I just want to get it done and I want to move quickly and move on to the next thing. But I was watching what the process was like, and I think everyone on all of your listeners at some point have probably applied for a credit card at some point. And you apply for a credit card and you apply and you either get approved or you get rejected. And if you get approved, a couple days later, the card's in your mailbox and you activate it and you're good to go. Small business loans was not that way. It was, multiple phone calls to get the correct documentation. Then after that, once the offers start coming in or the lender started asking questions, there would be multiple phone calls at that phase. Then there would be multiple phone calls in the closing process and so much wasted time because the small business owners sometimes are missing the phone calls. They don't answer. Then the small business owner calls back to their loan specialist. That person's missing the phone call. Maybe they're at lunch, maybe they're off that day, maybe it's after hours. And I just found so many inefficiencies in the process. And I was like, why can't small business lending become as simple as getting a credit card or getting a personal loan? Why does it have to be so frustrating for everybody? And I was the one selling the small business loans. Like, there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way. So I left in 2017, started One West, and with this kind of goal of can we fund small business loans without needing human intervention in the process? And everybody said I was crazy, that's too complicated. People won't use it. People like to talk to somebody. They would be shocked if I funded 1% of my loans on through automation. And today we fund a third of them fully through automation.
Wow, that's amazing. And you're so right because it's a frustrating process.
And then, yeah, people don't know where to, because if you go directly to the lenders, which it makes sense why people do that, right? They're like, well, if I go through an intermediary, then the intermediary needs to make money. Let me go directly to the lender, then I'll probably save money. Um, Sometimes that's true. Sometimes that's not true at all either. But the problem is when you go directly to the lender, they can only offer you the products that the lender offers, which might be very limited or not the right fit. But when
Mhm.
you go through, and not all intermediaries are good either, but if you go through a good intermediary with the small business owner's best interest in mind, they know, let's say over 100 different products where they can kind of piece together and say, hey, this one makes the most sense for you. Let's go talk to them together. And then they know what the rate should be and could be and what they've done for others in the past, which is very helpful.
Yes, and it takes the stress away. Be-
Exactly. How many lenders are you going to talk to while running your business also? Yeah.
True, true, very true. And just having to be and being in that position of having to get a loan is already
Stressful enough.
stress by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Because you in that position, oh God, I need to get a loan.
Yeah.
It's a commitment. You're thinking about all these different things. a-
Absolutely.
And then the process is even more stressful.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. You'd be surprised. You would think that when One West shows the loan options, everybody must pick the cheapest loan. It's not the case. A lot, I would say over 50% don't pick the cheapest, but they pick the one with the least amount of paperwork and like, which one I can just finish today and get this money today and move on with my day. Some people don't want to sign up for a 4-week loan process.
Yeah, I know I wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's like
But,
buying a
but
house.
then some do. They're like, hey, listen, I'm fine waiting. I'll give you as much documentation as you need. Just get me the best rate you can. And that's what we do. So we stay out of that thinking process for them. But once they decide what's important to them, then we give them the best lender within that bracket.
Okay, okay. Wow, I'm just like you got my brain ticking over here because
I'm glad.
that
Hopefully
is
your
really
viewers as well.
amazing,
Yeah,
and it's personable. because not only do you put these lenders in front of the customer, you also help them with the process.
That we hold their hand until the money is in their account. We're not just collecting information and then saying, here's three lenders, go talk to them. Thanks for your business. We stay with them until the funds have hit their account. And even beyond that, as far as, if you need another loan in the future or you need your account balance, we help with all of that too.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's awesome. So again, how do people connect?
Yeah, the best way to find us is at our site, onewest.com, or if they would prefer to call in, they can call us at 888-881-WEST.
Now, do you do personal?
We don't do much on the personal side yet, but we are in talks with a few lenders that we'd like to add to our platform on the personal side. And I looks like we're going to be launching in around April of this year. And then we'll be offering personal loans in addition to business loans. What we found is on the very low end of the small business world, I'm talking about a business doing between 80 and $200,000 in annual revenue.
Hmm.
um, they're typically getting approved for small business loans in the neighborhood of $8,000 to $12,000. But on the personal loan side, they can get approved for $30,000, $40,000. So it's an area we've been looking at very closely, and the terms are better on the personal loan side for those types of really small businesses. That's been a big push for me is to get some personal loan lenders that can offer advantageous deals so then our small business owners can take a look and look at them side by side and pick which one works better for them.
Okay, yeah, because that makes sense because sometimes when you add business, the cost automatically goes up.
Yeah, a larger business might say, why would I take a personal loan for my business? I don't want to personally guarantee anything. But when you're a
Right.
one-man self-employed band that's doing $100,000 a year in revenue, the business is as personal as anything else is. It's everything. So
Right,
you want
exactly.
the best deal you can get. So we don't want to force customers down a path. We'll just explain it all to them and let them make the decision. If they want to do the $10,000 business loan without any type of personal guarantee, or they want to do a $40,000 personal loan because the monthly payment's better and the terms are better, we're going to leave that option up to them like we always do.
Okay, okay. Wow, this has been so much information, Kano.
I
I'm like,
know. It can be
yeah,
a lot, but we're here to help our customers and any small business owner who needs some guidance on this.
but it gives business owners options, and that's what we need. We need options. We don't need to be spending weeks and weeks and weeks
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
find it. You know what I'm saying? Because then that becomes stressful,
Yeah.
and we want
No,
to.
no, we don't have time for that also. And the worst feeling, and unfortunately in the world of lending, it can happen, is you spend 2, 3 weeks on something, and at the finish line, unfortunately, the bank says it can't go
Yes,
forward. And now what? We're back to square one? Like it's a little crazy.
yes, and then you pissed, you angry,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
feel like wasted time.
exactly.
So many emotions come up for sure.
Exactly.
So again, Kanal, how do business owners connect with you?
Best way to find us is at onewest.com or by giving us a call at 888-881-WEST.
Wow, this is a lot of information, but great information. So now, people know where they can get money and not have to spend a lot of time trying to get it.
Absolutely.
They have choices. So I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to share this information with us.
Well, I appreciate you inviting me on and thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, audience. We appreciate you as well.